maybe we'll talk about some other things. I have been having very deep meditations lately. I don't know about you guys. Um, Got to fix my lighting. Okay, I'm going to wait a while for this to come on because I can't find us on the page, so I can't see any comments. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to fix my lighting because that's always important to do as well. And I just got some brand new lights delivered from Amazon today, so that's going to help us look good on the broadcast. See what difference lighting makes? I'm telling you, I need professional lighting. So I'm still not seeing me on Facebook. I know I'm on because Sally told me I was, but I have to see comments in order to do the show tonight because it is viewer's choice. Here we go. Gotcha. It's just a delay is what the problem is. Okay, cool. So we're going to go on here. Let's see who's out here tonight. Who have I got here? We got Janine. Hey, baby, how are you? I am going to share this onto my pages. So you tune in and you just basically get me not doing a whole lot. But we're going to get started in a few minutes. You guys get to see me working. Okay. So that should go shared. Yep. Okay, so we've got David out there, Janine, Sally. Hey, baby. John Minetta. I wish I could see everyone's face, but I need Zoom for that, and that isn't compatible with this. So as I was saying, we're all doing different equipment, and we're all doing different stuff. So trying to do Gov's Remote should be so simple, but we're all having some issues because it's all this broadcaster software and all this other kinds of stuff. So it's just so much to contend with. So I hope I'm looking good, sounding good, everything's working. Tonight is our viewer's choice. And what we want to do tonight is have you all basically tune in, ask me any question you want about anything spiritual. It could be medium, it could be astrology, it could be whatever you like. I will tell you that I am very tired today. The Schumann resonance, which the Schumann resonance is actually a frequency registry. It's something that registers. It's I can't even talk. I'm so tired. The Schumann is at 138, and that's why. So what's the Schumann resonance? The Schumann resonance is a way that we measure the Earth's vibration. And basically it measures the resonance inside the Earth, the center of the Earth. Some people call it the heartbeat of the Earth, with the ionosphere and how waves, electromagnetic fields, and alpha waves bounce off those things. So when we have the Schumann resonance, usually it's around 7, 8 megahertz, or I think it's megahertz or hertz, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a scientist. And around 2017, it started to go up to 30, 35. It would spike to that. And we found that consciousness was being raised in the world. People were actually becoming more conscious, more aware of spirituality and things like that. And it has a direct relation to when the Schumann resonance spikes. And so usually it goes up to like 30. I think the highest that was ever actually recorded was right after 9/11. The Schumann resonance spiked. And they think it's because when we put compassion and things like that out into the world, that it actually makes our vibration go higher, which I believe, because you know, when you have love and you have love in your life, the vibration will go much higher, right? When you're sick and you think of something joyful or happy, your vibration goes up. So the Schumann resonance measures the Earth's heartbeat, or the Earth's electromagnetic field, the rays, the beta, the gamma, the everything that's happening. And what they found was a direct correlation between the way humans feel and the Schumann resonance. And so when the Schumann resonance has a spike, oftentimes humans will have anxiety, or they'll have awakenings, consciousness gets raised, sometimes there'll be headaches, you know, physical symptoms, things like that. And so it's really interesting when you're on the spiritual path to watch the Schumann resonance and how the frequency changes and what your reaction and your symptoms are. So a spike in the Schumann is usually something around maybe 80. I think one time it went to like 116. It's at like 130 right now. So the electromagnetic fields in the Earth's heartbeat is much more accelerated. It's much more rapid. And most modern day mystics and most spiritual people think that this is because we are undergoing an initiation, an awakening, a transformation as a species, where our brain waves are actually going to become higher frequency and more aware. Once you start going into gamma rays, the brain actually works in a way where we become super aware and super in a super level of consciousness, but we don't have so much of the flight or fight response. The emergency responses in the brain settle. So you become a society of love and compassion. You become awakened to the point where you are really feeling joy, bliss on a much deeper level, and you don't have fear. You don't have as much fear. So when we look at what the Schumann resonance is doing now, and the fact that it is going so high and spiking at a time when we're undergoing a global pandemic, we're all in this stay-at-home orders, things like that, I think the interpretation could very easily be that we are indeed going under a transfiguration, that we are indeed being initiated, our species is changing, it's adapting. And then you take the evidence that the Earth is healing, right? The Earth is healing. We've been on a pause, and because there's not as much flight in the sky with airplanes, and there's not as much traffic on the road, pollution is really downgrading, and rivers are becoming cleaner, and the Earth is healing. And so that's also a really good metaphor, okay? It's a synchronicity of the fact that we can do the same, you know, and that healing that comes when our frequency raises is happening to all of us. Now, you'll say, why are some people cranky and hoarding and getting politically frustrated and screaming and yelling and doing all those things? Well, that's because people act out when they become fearful. And there's a certain, mass of the population that when fear comes, they act out, right? You know, like that 2-year-old having a tantrum, or even us as adults, when our emotions, when our uncomfortableness gets to a point where we just want to push it off on someone else, we act out. And that's why, you know, emotions and the resonance in the world right now is so incredibly high. So we're seeing that we are vibrating higher, and it's taking its toll. It's an initiation. It's almost like our bodies have to readjust to a new rhythm. And so we don't feel as comfortable as we normally do. Maybe we're not sleeping as well as we normally would. Maybe we feel like we're on a nervous kind of accelerated kind of reaction response to things. And that's because this does affect our nervous system. The Schumann resonance is an exact replication of the electromagnetic fields on the Earth, and we are governed by that in our nervous system is electricity, right? So you guys all tune in and let me know. I'm seeing some weird technical difficulties, and it's got nothing to do with anything I'm doing on my end. So if anything, it's either all the solar flares that we're having with the Schumann resonance, or it's just technology right now is weird, because I'm seeing that really strange green type bars across the top of the page, as though something's not configured right. So I don't know what that is. I'm almost concerned to refresh the page because I don't want to lose the broadcast. So I really kind of can't do that. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I guess maybe just listen. I don't know if you can still hear me. Okay. So we got Felix out there. We have John. Hey, let's eat Long Island. I want to be on your show when we get back into the studio. Okay, so some people are saying technical difficulties. I don't know, because I'm doing this remotely and I have no control over the technical difficulties. I hit a button and I go into Gov's Comedy, so hey, that's what I do. So now this is your night, viewers. So whatever you want to ask and whatever you want to, oh, thanks, Danielle. Hope you're doing good. Any question that you want to ask me, and anything that you want to, yeah, there's something with the feed is all messed up. I can see it. But it's not happening on my live camera. So it's definitely the feed that's going into Gov somehow is misconfigured. So we'll just wing it, I guess, unless I get cut off. Weird stuff. Got somebody texting me about the technical difficulties, so. I'm going to text an engineer, see if they can fix it. If you're out there, you can also watch me. You can also click on the YouTube and online. Yeah, what I would suggest for you guys is if the feed's getting a little funky, you can also watch on govsradio.com, but still chat with me here because that's the only way I'm going to see your comments. Okay, so I think this will be my last broadcast for a while because I just don't have the patience for this. So somebody had a question. Okay, you had a dream last night. Was it true? Well, I don't know what your dream was, Marianne, but thanks for making me laugh, Tommy, because I needed that. Because right now I'm hating technical difficulties. Okay, so first question at a time. I have a question about the coronavirus in Patchogue. I really wouldn't know about that. I mean, if you want to be more specific, I'll try and answer a question, but don't really know. Danielle is saying it's Facebook that's doing the feed. Marianne, you had a dream last night. Was it true? I don't know. Tell me a little more about what the dream was. I'm a firm believer that dreams are very indicative of the things going on in our life. And so when we dream, it's our subconscious giving us a message. So I'm just going to keep talking, and then once again I'm going to have to do a lot of work tomorrow to separate the audio from this video so that I can actually use it. Hey Christine, so any other questions? Let's see, because I can still see the feed. Maybe this will clear up. I don't know what the issue is exactly. All I can tell you is my internet at my house is fine. It's 5G and it's probably killing me, but other than that, is Faye Dunaway still alive? I don't even think she's alive. I don't know though. So if anybody else has a comment, it's going to be one weird night. I can tell you that much. Weird night. Okay. Can you put an angel card for you? I actually have a different deck of angel cards tonight, John, as this goes down in history as one of the worst broadcasts ever. As I said, I think it's going to be my last broadcast for a while. I'll just save myself the pain. I'm going to pull an angel card for John. So, John, what I need you to do is just link with me. And I have this black cloud over my head lately. If you could just link with me and focus on what you want an answer to, that would be really helpful for me, okay? Okay, let's pick you a card. John, your card is joy. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because I don't know how messed up this is, but I was looking to see if you can see it on film. I don't think you can, but your card is Joy. And it's a beautiful picture of a woman with a butterfly at her throat chakra. So I feel almost like this is joy, but it's something that you need to speak up or speak your piece or speak something that is you're holding in. Because that throat chakra is really, really, opening. That butterfly is a sign of opening and the light in the throat. So there's got to be something that you're not saying and you need to have that conversation. Based on the astrology, I would say, I'm not beating myself up over the technology. It's just that, I'll get to that in a minute. So if you, John, if you're thinking that you should say something to someone, what I would do is at least wait till the end of the week because of the astrology. So, wait till, we're at the end of the week. I don't even know what day it is. Wait till like Saturday. Danielle, I'm not beating myself up. What it is that I have so much creation that I'm doing right now and so many things I'm working on that I don't want to spend time on things that aren't really productive as far as, putting myself out there. You want to look a certain way for your brand. And if it's, something like I can't use this video, so it's just not really worth the time. Okay. As spiritual as you are, you got to have a business head because these days, no one has a job. So we all got to support ourselves. Okay, anybody else have a question out there? Marianne, if you want to tell me a little more about your dream, I definitely will be on top of that. Hey, you're okay, John. I'm going to pick an angel card for myself. And I'm also going to call in all the angels so that, I'm going to call in all the angels so that they fix the broadcast. We'll see if that works. Okay. So. I'm going to pick an angel card for me. I got music. I'm playing music in the background. I don't think you guys can hear it. But he's a hottie, so I hope he's coming. And the third eye is activated in this picture. As you see the star where the third eye is. So that's really beautiful music. Did everybody see the beautiful video that the local Long Island musicians did? They all did a We Are the World video. It was so cool. If you haven't seen that, go on YouTube because you'll find it. It's really, really cool video. Probably, Tom. I'll tell you, this is not good. Who's doing tech over there? I don't know. And I don't want to mess anything up by, if I hit the wrong button, it'll be, wow, did you see that light over my head when I did that? If I hit the wrong button, it'll take the broadcast off totally. So at least we have sound. So the other thing I was going to talk about tonight besides the Schumann resonance was someone had asked me to talk about the Akashic Records. And I think that was Karen Ann. I don't know if she's on or not. But she was talking to me earlier on Messenger or online, and she said that she wanted me to talk about the Akashic Records, that she was very interested in that. And so what is the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records are the place, it's not a physical place, of course, it's an energetic place, where every single thing that has ever happened since the beginning of creation is actually recorded, and it's recorded in the energy of it. Like, I'll give you an example. When I love someone, right, and then maybe that person passes over, or maybe that person is out of my life, I know the energy of that love, that frequency, and this kind of ties in with what I was saying before about the Schumann resonance. I know that that frequency is out there in the universe. Nothing can ever destroy it because energy never dies. It just changes and metamorphoses and transfiguration, all that. So thanks for tuning in, Robert. We have some kind of technical difficulty on the remote end that the video is messing up. So we got sound. We got sound. So if you take that a step further and you think about how everything that's ever transpired has an energy, and this broadcast has an energy, my voice has an energy, your voice has an energy, everything we do has an energy to it, right? Well, they're all out there in the universe. All of that energy is out there. Since the beginning of creation, everything that ever happened, ever is going to happen, and ever is happening now is out there. And that's what we call the Akashic Record. It's a record of every single thing that has ever happened since the dawn of time. The Akashic Records also are timeless. It's my belief, and a lot of people believe the same thing I do, that time is happening all at the same time. It's all happening now. Someone is Cleopatra right now. Someone is going to be Cleopatra after this broadcast. Time is not in a straight line. Time is always happening, always, always, always. That's why, as a psychic, I can read the energy of people who've passed over into another realm, because it's all happening. It's not that happened in the past, present, future. It's all completely one existence, all happening, all resonating, all creating energy in the universe. So the Akashic Records are the place that we can access to look at everything that ever has happened, is happening now, and will happen in the future. So when you get a thought or an intuition, an intuitive flash, you're actually accessing the Akashic Records. When we meditate and we see things like I meditate, and when I meditate I see movies. Sometimes it will be a past life, or sometimes it will be something that is a message for me that's going to happen in the future. And so I know I'm seeing that because it's in the Akash. It's in the Akashic Records. And they're giving me, Spirit, Creator is giving me this energy to see for my benefit. So when we access the Akashic Records, we're seeing everything our soul has ever done since it was created, and everything our soul ever will do in the future, with our free will coming into play. So that's really how people read psychic energy. A lot of times people equate the Akashic Records to being your higher self, the form of energy within you that is in your soul that is carried through many, many lifetimes. And that's why sometimes you'll get that feeling of deja vu, and or you'll meet someone and you'll think you met them before, because you probably have in another life, and your soul, your higher self, is remembering that. So I hope that explains the Akashic Records, because someone had asked me to talk about that a little bit. There's a great book out. I think the woman's name, I think her first name is either Beth or Helen Howe, Howe. You can probably get it on Amazon. And it's about the Akashic Records, and she actually has meditations in there and things you can do to access the Akash and the Akashic Records. A lot of healers or seers or prophets or psychics will act like it's a really big deal, and they'll be like, oh, I read the Akash, I read the Akashic Records. But everyone can. You just have to believe it, and you just have to tune your energy to the frequency of that, and you will be able to do it. When I first started to meditate, years and years and years ago, I would see something flash across my vision, and I would be so frightened and thrilled that I saw something, or that I got a hit, or got a message. And now I can pretty much at will close my eyes, go into a deep state, and I'll see like a movie, and just if I ask Spirit. So that's how we channel the Akash. And there's exercises and all kinds of things that you can do. If you really want to work in your Akashic Records, I would say the best thing for you to do is do Kundalini Yoga, because that opens the line of communication with your higher self. I'll pull a card for you, David. This is going to be about your Arizona move. I really apologize for this broadcast tonight. I have no control over any of it, so. Okay, David, I have to tell you, I think your brother or your family member, you have RJ, and I know that I had said to RJ that he was going to meet somebody when he went to Arizona, and I just pulled the Divine Love card. So that move for you and your family is a really, really good move, and you got to go. All right? If anybody else wants me to pull a card for them, I will. If anybody else has any other questions, I will answer them. You can ask me anything. I want to talk about the astrology a little bit too. I know we're a little bit all over. Ever loading. I don't know why that would be. Hey, Marianne. Who else we have here? Marco. Yeah, I apologize for this broadcast, but again, I don't have any control over this part of things. Okay, Daniel, I'm reposting my comment before. I would love an angel card too if you're pulling. I can't quite figure out how to formulate my question, but something about my connection to my partner who passed. Danielle, if you can give me their name, that would be really helpful to me right now because I feel like something's coming in. I'm going to actually write down a name that I'm getting, and then if you want to put it in the comments, because it's definitely a delay. And the other thing, while I'm waiting for that, the other thing I wanted to just say really quick about the Schumann resonance, and you can Google that. It's SCHUMAN resonance. You will be flabbergasted if you start to really research that. Nicholas, okay. Do you have a Bill or a Billy around you? I'm getting a B name really heavily. I don't know. It could be for somebody else watching, but I'm getting that really heavily, really powerfully. So one of the other reasons why I think the Schumann resonance is vibrating so high and why I feel like we're going under a transfiguration and a change as a species and our awareness is heightened is because this is really energy of like, who do I really want to be? Like, who am I really? And that's usually what happens to us once we're undergoing an ascension or a spiritual awakening. So, Tommy, I think you will find love. Whether or not you sell a script is up to you, how hard you work to do that. And I don't know, I think fame isn't all it's cracked up to be, but I've never been that famous, so I don't know. But as far as selling a script, I don't know why I feel this intuitively, but I feel like you have to be super aggressive. Like you need to be more aggressive and put yourself out there. Like don't worry about rejection. Like if you have to send a script to like 300 people, just do it. Because I feel like you're going to sell it, but it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of legwork. Okay? Danielle, I'm getting back to you now. I'm definitely getting a B name, Billy, or it could be female also. Okay, so let's see what Nicholas has to say for you. They're also telling me to pick a soul card for you. A tarot card. Okay. Wow. This is really resonating. Danielle, Nicholas is protecting you. It is protection. Look at that beautiful card, that beautiful angel, stars all around. I feel like stars have a significance for you. This is all about being protected. And it's Archangel Michael. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera, but it's a beautiful card. It's like a beautiful angel wings in the form of a heart and stars all over and just beautiful violet color. And it looks like just the protection of love, pure love. So that's a beautiful card to be picked. And then I'm going to pick a tarot card for you because they're just telling me to do that. Yeah, David, I think the sooner you guys go, the better, actually, for you guys. Yeah, Tommy, definitely be aggressive with that script because I feel like there's something there for you. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Don't be complacent, you know, because that was the energy that came in right away. Okay, back to you, Danielle. Oh, King of Cups. So I don't know what birth sign Nicholas was, but if he was a water sign, if he was either a Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. So that could be indicative of that. Kings are usually very paternal, like almost like father energy in a way. Yeah, could you see it? Because I didn't know. Oh, you have a star. Yeah, because when I pulled the card, I said something with stars. It definitely was resonating. Now I don't know where the card went, but I hope you saw it because it was definitely, as soon as I pulled it, I was like, this is their card. I'm going to try and find it again in the deck because I shuffled after that. But, and I love these cards because the artwork on them is not very complicated, so they're really easy to read. Yeah, that's the card. And as soon as the stars popped out at me, and I said, the stars are significant, and it's protection. He's with you. He's watching over you. I feel like you have worry right now, aside from, you know, the worries that we all have with the virus and pandemic and work and everything. I feel like there's something else weighing heavily on you. And what I'm going to tell you is he definitely comes to you in the evening, in the night, like when you're sleeping, when you're just falling asleep. So if you have dreams or anything about him, they're really him coming through for you. Okay? Oh, that's great. Great. All right. Anybody else got a question? I know we don't have a big audience tonight because I'm sure that most people don't want to watch the video like this. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology. We have about 15 minutes left. Right now, we've got a lot of stuff going on with the planets. We've got a lot of retrogrades that are going to be coming in the next few weeks. Actually, Pluto is already getting ready to go retrograde. Retrograde means a planet slows down. And when a planet slows down, it never goes backwards. That's a myth. It's almost like if you've ever pulled into a parking space and the car next to you starts to back up and you feel for a minute like you're going backwards. That is a retrograde motion. So when planets go into retrograde, there's a reason they do it. They actually go into retrograde because they want us to have the energy of that planet a little bit more intensely so that we can utilize the octave of the energy for whatever that planet represents. Pluto represents transfiguration, transformation. Something has to die to be reborn. But it does that in order for us to do it better. You know, it's almost like wiping everything off the table so you can reset it. Even though sometimes Pluto transits are oftentimes painful, in the end, our life is better for them having happened. So when Pluto goes retrograde, it is a really deep contemplative time when we're really contemplating the changes that we're going through. We're really contemplating where we want our life to be, how we want our life to be, how we want to show up for our lives, and where we have not been able to overcome certain obstacles. Pluto will either make those obstacles really come to the forefront so that we have to make a decision about, you know, separating from them, or they will just completely fall away. So, okay, I'm going to get to you in a second, Carrie. So when the planet goes retrograde, the energy becomes more intense. We've been in some really intense Pluto energy since January when it met Saturn in the sky. And that energy is going to continue throughout the year because now Jupiter, which expands everything it touches, is in the sky next to Pluto. So Venus is going to go retrograde May 13th. Pluto goes retrograde April 25th, so that's 2 days from now. Saturn goes retrograde May 11th. And then we also, I think Mars is going retrograde. I got to check that. So what does that mean? It means that things slow down. It's going to be very hard to accomplish things. It's going to be very hard to get our goals to, you know, come to the completion point. So how is the energy best used for planning? It doesn't, you know, it resonates with me very synchronistic that we've got planets right now that are in retrograde and we are on a stay-at-home order. That to me really speaks of the fact that we probably are going to be here for a little while. I think if this state of New York starts to open up, it's going to be a very gradual thing. That's just my intuition and, of course, my logic. And while these planets are retrograde, it's going to be very hard to execute and get things to move forward. So now is the time to plan. It's a great time to be creative, especially since we have the Schumann resonance so high. Our creativity, our awareness is going to be through the roof. So as each planet goes into a retrograde, I would definitely not make any major changes, major decisions, but I would plan for the major changes and the major decisions that you want to make. Because come a couple of months from now, it's going to be like a slingshot out of the gate. And so, you know, you want to utilize that energy. So I just want to go back to Carrie Ann. You said that Billy might have been for you. Oh, okay, that worked. Yeah, I felt this energy of Billy coming in really strongly. And for some reason, I felt like when they passed out of this world, that it was very quick. Now, that could mean that they were sick and were getting better, and all of a sudden something changed. Or it could be a very quick death, like, something that was not really predicted, was really kind of came out of the blue. And then, one day this person just wasn't there anymore. So just know that if that is him, that's the energy that I'm getting from him. He's coming in to thank you. Love is there, and gratitude. You did something in his last time here, when it got close to, and again, I feel like you didn't know he was going to pass. But before that, there was a time period when you did something really meaningful for him. And he's just coming in to thank you for that, acknowledge that, and bring love to you. All right? And then Tom had a question. Okay, can you pull a card for my friend Evan Weiss? Yes, I can. He believed his Long Island comedian friends belittle him, are envious, cruel to him behind his back. Can you tell me if his suspicions are correct? I never know how to be a good listener or advisor to him on this subject. Well, one thing I'm going to say about that, and this is going to be really weird. Hi, Elaine. Sorry we're having technical difficulties. I think that when people are in a victim mode, all right? I'm not a psychiatrist, but this is just my experience. When people are in a victim mode and they feel that they're being victimized, whether it's true or not, their feelings feel that way. And oftentimes it could be happening, but I also think a lot of times it's more reflective of that person's self-worth, because and that's where his energy is best spent, is on himself. Because when you're really strong in yourself, it doesn't matter if someone tries to belittle you or insults you or is cruel to you. You don't care, And so I know that sounds tough, and sometimes I can be a little tough, but my bangs are driving me crazy because I cut them myself. My hairdresser is going to kill me when we get sprung. But people who are really fixated on the fact that people are cruel to them or no one likes them, that's an indication of where their own self-worth lies. Hey, yeah, we all get, scared or beat up a little bit from time to time by words, but then we bounce back. If someone is really heavily into that, I think sometimes that's their self-worth. Oh, you're welcome, Carrie. Okay, so this card is for your comedian friend, Tom. I'm going to actually pick another card for him as well as this one. He got the same card as John Mineta got earlier, joy, and the throat chakra. So that kind of leads me to think that he needs to speak up a little bit. But I also think that this is also indicative of the way he speaks to himself. If someone calls you a name or someone is cruel to you or belittles you, and you internalize that and repeat it to yourself and feel like it's true, you're doing more harm than those words that someone else said could ever do. So maybe when you talk to him and advise him, you could just tell him it doesn't matter what other people say, it matters what you say. It matters what you say to yourself, meeting him. So, like, I don't care what anybody says about me. I care what I say about me. And the only relationship that's important in that regard is what I think of myself and what God thinks of me. Because that's the only thing that really matters. I don't know what the timeline is for your move, RJ, but I'm going to tell you, you guys need to do it. You need to just start packing and do it. Okay? Because I just feel like things are going to be really great for you guys over there. So, Tom, I hope that helped. I don't know if you have any other questions, but he definitely needs to speak up, and he also needs to speak to himself more kindly. Yeah, that's really, he wants to be in that victim mode. And, that's work he has to do for himself, and he has to get to a point in his life where he values himself and he knows he is enough and he is valuable no matter what someone says, I mean, as we get older and more mature, we get to a point where, like, somebody can flip me off, tell me to go F myself, whatever. It really doesn't bother me because, like, I know who I am, and I'm not saying that from an arrogant point of view. I'm saying that from a point of view to really honor ourselves. And, sometimes someone might call you an a-hole or something. And if you get in your car and leave there and be like, yeah, I'm such an a-hole, you just did so much damage to yourself. And one of the tests that I do for that is I always, when I speak to myself, if I speak to myself, we all get like a bad mood. Like before, I was saying how, you know, I have this black cloud over me lately. It's like Murphy's Law. I always say to myself, would I talk to my friend that way? You know, because if I'm talking to myself in a way that I wouldn't talk to someone else, that's a pretty good indication things are not good. I'm just reading Carrie Ann. You're welcome, Tom. Her feedback on this 100% correct. I am just. Yeah, it's all about ourselves. You know, I'm going to open up a little bit here, and you know, I never know how much to share on air. But when I was much younger, in my 20s, I was with someone who was physically abusive and pretty badly so, and you know, verbal abuse, everything. And I managed to get out of that place. I actually ended up climbing out a window. Long story that I won't go into. And when I left that place, I could not even make eye contact with another human being. And look at me now, right? So, you know, really overcame that. And so I have such compassion for anyone who is in a place of low self-esteem, because it is so painful. It is so painful. But ultimately, no one can help you. No matter how many times someone tells you you're great, when you don't believe it, the only way you can ever get there is in yourself, inside yourself. And you've got to find something that becomes a passion for you. You've got to find something that ignites something inside you that you feel proud and worthwhile and like you've accomplished something. And once you do that and you start to do that, and it could be something simple, you know, whether it's a diet or a sports accomplishment or any kind of goal. Once you do that, all of a sudden your internal dialogue completely changes now, because you've got something to believe in yourself about. So it's a long road, and it's hard. I really feel badly for people who are still in that, because that is some really painful place to be. And it's very lonely too. It's very lonely. So I'm glad that you tuned in, Carrie Ann, because you guys can help each other. So I think that's almost like our broadcast. And now, of course, the video straightens out, right? There was something wrong with the feed. So why is so angry plants? I don't know what that means. I know I'm back online. I look pretty good now, right? Not all blah, 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 blah. I was just saying, I cut my bangs, and I look like one of those doofy kindergarten pictures, you know, where your parents cut your bangs to here. So I cut my bangs, and I look like a doof, and whatever, I don't care. But they're itching the crap out of me, because they're like right at my forehead. So anyway, next time you see me, I'm going to have like a pink beret here. I'll look like I'm 5 for sure. So if anybody has any other questions, we've got about another 10 minutes, I think, to go. I don't know, Sally will let me know if she's out there. My beautiful Sally that I love, that I can't do any of this without her. And Janine was out there, but I think she gave up on me. Sounds like I'm rapping. I don't rap. So got that. Got this. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about? Tonight is viewer's choice, man. You never know what's going to happen. So Carrie Ann, confirm for me, did Billy pass suddenly? Because I feel like it was not expected is what I want to say. You know, definitely not expected. Yeah. Okay. The building up. Oh, she's talking about the other thing. Okay. So anything else, let me know. You can always find me on zenkuda.com. Venus is going to go retrograde next month, and Gemini. And usually when Venus goes retrograde in Gemini, it could mean a lot of relationship shakeups. So you want to definitely secure your relationships and make sure that everything is good. If you have any conversations that you have to have, I wouldn't have them just now. I'd wait a few days. So John, when you're opening up that throat chakra, make sure you pick your timing right. So I'm going to wait and see if there's any other comments. Carrie Ann, did you have any other questions about the Akashic Records? Do you ever notice how when I have to ask a question of you guys, my voice gets higher, like I'm yelling at you in another room when you're online? It's pretty funny. Pull a card for your mom. Yeah. Oh, why so many planets? Um, there's always the same amount of planets. Of course, we're discovering more and more and more of them. There's moons upon moons now. So I'm going to pull a card for Angelique, I believe, is your mom, right? Yeah. Okay, Angelique. Angelique got the card of peace. See that? Peace is coming. I just feel so strongly that you guys really need to move. That's a beautiful card. And that is Melchizedek, who also comes in oftentimes with Saint Germain. So beautiful, beautiful card. Card of peace. Your mom, if she's not meditating, really should get some meditation in there. Yeah, I felt that when as soon as his energy came in, Carrie, and I knew that this was not an expected thing. So, they may. Sometimes that happens, Danielle. I have to tell you, Danielle, when Nick came in, his energy was so, and I feel like he wasn't, like he didn't portray this way in life to many people, but when his energy came in, it was very gentle and soft. And I feel like, he didn't exhibit that way to people in life, maybe to you a little bit, but when he came in, it was just like such a beautiful, beautiful, calming kind of an energy. So, so yeah, so it could have been that, but the energies were very different. So, oh, thank you. And if you have any questions about the Akashic Records, just message me. I'll always answer what I know. But there is a great book by that woman Howe, Howe. Try and pick that up. You can probably get it on Audible, or you could get it on Amazon. All right. Anything else? And if you all would subscribe to my YouTube channel, there are videos there that are not on social media. I'm actually in the process now of doing a whole series of videos on the planets and what each planet means, etc., those kind of things. We have about 10 more minutes. What I'm going to say, I'm not picking up George's energy that much, Tom, but what I am going to say is that Venus is going to go retrograde in a couple of weeks, and usually a relationship that starts during a Venus retrograde never really is long term. It'll be a good relationship for a certain period of time, and then it kind of fizzles out, or it ends. A lot of times when people start relationships during a Venus retro, it almost is like they have rose-colored glasses on and things are too good to be true. But I feel like if he does start a relationship and it ends, I feel like another relationship comes in really fast for him, and that one is longer. So, the retrograde, there's all different planets, David, that are retrograding. I read them out before. Venus goes retrograde on the 13th, but it's in a shadow period beforehand. Pluto on Saturday. Saturn, May 11th. So a lot of planets are going to be in retrogrades. So that's going to really slow us down even more than we're slowed down. All right. Oh, I'm glad, Danielle. I'm glad. That's cool. All right. Aaron. Hey, Aaron from Texas. So that's what I think, Tom. I mean, it's hard for me to get into the energy of relationships, and I'll tell you why. And this is actually a lesson for all of us. When I first used to read, people would come to me all the time, and they all about relationships. And then I realized that, I'll see something, or I'll pick up energy of something, and I'll know it's not going to work probably, or it is going to work, or whatever. But when it comes to relationships, people do things against their free will, or against fate. Like, for instance, I will see something in a read, especially when I used to do a lot of card readings, where someone was cheating or being cheated on, there was a third party involved, and I would, pretty much know, look, this relationship isn't going to work. And I would say something diplomatically, because I never predict if relationships aren't going to work or are. And the reason for that is because I could see it in the cards. I kind of know what's going to happen, but then they will do the opposite. Like, maybe they'll keep the guy that's cheating because they don't want to be alone, So, yeah, the relationship's not really working, but they're not breaking up, or vice versa. Someone will come to me and they will be able to make a decision. Maybe they're cheating on someone, and they'll ask me, what do you think I should do? And I'll say, well, this looks like the better energy, but it's your life. You have to do what you want. And then they'll say, okay, I'm going to end it. And then they'll leave me and not end it. So, I don't really do predictive relationship readings because people are messed up about relationships and they will do absolutely the opposite of what fate wants them to do. And so basically, if I could put it in a few words, people stay in relationships they really shouldn't be in. And, even though I can see it and I know the universe doesn't want them in that relationship, people are really funny and they'll do a lot of stuff that they think for love when love really has nothing to do with it. So that's just my track record. Oh, I love you lots too. That's great. I hope you're staying healthy. I know you were working, so I hope you're staying healthy. Yeah, I believe in fate as well. But the thing is, this is how fate and free will works. I'm going to talk about this because I think I got like 5 minutes left. Okay, so this is how fate and free will work. Fate is something that is supposed to happen. The universe wants this to happen. The universe has synchronized things to be in a certain way. It has orchestrated to have this thing happen, and it's fate. It happens, like you're meet the love of your life on a train to New York that you weren't even supposed to be on because you missed your train and end up marrying the guy, right? That's fate. But free will comes in because you could meet that guy on the train that day and he's charming and he's great and he's wonderful and you're in a bad mood and you flip him off and go sit on another car, right? Your free will denied that opportunity. So fate comes into play to give us opportunity. Fate is not something that's the be-all, end-all, and is the predictive thing that we can't not change. Fate is the opportunity for what the universe wants to happen. Our free will either goes with it and is in alignment or screws it up. So that's the difference between fate and free will. You may be fated to do a certain career. You may be fated to be in a certain place at a certain time. You may be fated to meet someone. But your free will, you have the ability to either go with that opportunity and know what's right, or ignore what's right and go with what your emotions or what your ego desires. And then you lose the opportunity that fate brought you. And that's why I always say, really, really, really observe what's happening in your life and really be in alignment with the universe so that you know what it wants you to do. Because that you can really rule your life and have power and control over your life if you just merge fate and free will with your intuition so that you know what the best course of action is. That's really the way to go about doing it. Life. If we could all master that, right? Because we want what we want. So, so I think that's the broadcast because I'm looking that we're at like 56 minutes and I think Boxcast shuts me off at an hour. So that's what I think anyway. I don't know. Sally can confirm that for me. Does anybody else have any questions about fate and free will? Because that happens to be one of my awesomest favorite subjects because there's a great movie out called Serendipity, which really is about that as well. I just feel like fate and free will are so interesting to me because I can look at someone's astrological chart. I obviously study my own on a regular basis. And when I look at the chart, I can actually see what is fated to happen. But what that person does is a completely different story. And that's why it's so important to be connected and in alignment with the universe and a higher power so that you really, when the opportunities come, you're like, yeah, I really want the chocolate cupcake, but I'm going to have the fruit. So you're welcome for the card. Oh, I don't know about this being a great show, John. You're always so kind to me and always so supportive, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you. Yeah, viewer's choice. I think I'm going to do viewer's choice once a month. So hopefully, tell your friends, share the video if you want. I'm going to see if I can pull the audio out of it. And gosh, I hope you guys are all staying well and using this seclusion, isolation, to really make your lives more valuable. The things that you always said, if I had a month off, I would do, we'll do them. We can't travel, but we can certainly travel in our mind. And we can't, go out and do a lot of things, but we certainly can get ourselves together and plan for a future that's going to be even brighter when all this is over. I often say when when someone comes in and wipes the table clean, it's just another opportunity to set it in a more beautiful way. And that's really what's happening to all of us. So I love you all. I will see you soon, hopefully. I'd love to do a huge gathering for everyone after this is over. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay home, keep everybody safe. Remember that lesson of interdependence where the things that we do really affect each other now. And we have to be really responsible for ourselves and each other. Thank you so much. I love you. I will be on Tuesday night on Zenkuda on Facebook at 7 o'clock. And maybe if I work up my courage, I'll do another podcast here. I don't know. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.